snake comprehension part 2. The snake was caught in Barbados. Was it caught in Barbados? Let me see. Not just Barbados. Tell me where in Barbados. Look at that second sentence. Tell me which parish.
St. Peter.
St. Peter. That might be by Joshua. Daddy, we don't even know. That might be by Joshua. How did the present snakes get into Barbados?
People shipping up to Barbados.
Yup. Smuggle. You know what this word smuggle means?
When they get big, they carry it to the zoo.
Mm-hmm. You know what the word smuggle is, Joshua? You ever heard that word?
Pardon?
Smuggle. You know what the word smuggle means?
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Tell me, tell Auntie.
It's when you bring illegal stuff to a country.
Excellent, Joshua. So I'm not supposed to be bringing in snakes. I'm not supposed to be bringing illegal drugs. I'm not supposed to be bringing, like what? In Barbados, we're not allowed to wear camouflage. So that would be a good example for here. Right? So different things that is against the law for you to bring in these things. You still trying to bring them. Maybe you just want to have a pet snake. You think that would be fun. Or maybe you're bringing them in to sell them to people. But they bring them in when they're small. And then when they grow big, now they realize, I can't handle this big snake. I can't keep up with feeding this snake keeping up too much room. They just go and let them loose, right? To fend for themselves in the wild. Our next question. Where do these reptiles live?
In the forest.
Mm-hmm. Now, let us look at the second paragraph. Look at the second line in the second paragraph. That will be line number 9. Look at that sentence and read it for me, Joshua.
The pythons usually live in caves, gullies, or pool or water. They usually come out at night to hunt.
Good boy, good boy. That's the people calling again, The pythons, so the snakes live in caves, gullies, or pools of water. How long can one good meal last a snake? How long can one good meal last a snake? If the snake eats a good meal, how long he will keep quiet before he moves off to eat again?
$16.
16 what?
Hours.
16 hours. You see something about 16 hours in the passage?
No.
No, but I want you to just guess. Remember, anytime you get a question in a comprehension, it has to be that they have given you the answer. We know sometimes they will ask you why you think this, why you feel that. That's different. But these kind of questions, like they're just looking for facts. If they answer you, the answer has to be in the passage. So look at line number 12.
After a good meal, they may stay in one location for at least 2 weeks.
So that is our answer. 2 weeks is our answer. The snail ate and his belly is so full. He can just lie down there and laze about and relax for 2 weeks. Right? And I suppose after that he has digested that meal, he will move around and look for the next prey, the next thing he's going to eat. Why were these pythons set on the loose?
Pardon?
Why did people set the snakes loose? I was just talking about that. Look at line number
Because
6.
when they get big,
Mm-hmm.
they will release it because they can't take care of it.
Exactly, perfect. They let them go when they grew too big and became difficult to maintain. As I said, you have problems keeping them quiet, keeping them safe, but keeping others safe from them, feeding them, and so on, right? Because they grow to be pretty big. All right, number 6. This clause, that are working hard to track them down, is written in which tense? If I say I am working hard, is that present tense, continuous tense, or past tense? Which tense you think that is? Present. Well, the fact that I say I am is actually continuous. Once you see ing, that means the action is being done. It's being done continuously. So I'm working hard. In this moment, I'm working hard. If I say I work, yes, that's the present tense, but that could be I work this morning. I take a little break. I work this evening. I work on Mondays, right? Present tense. On Mondays, I don't work all the time from 8 to 4. I get to work. I work. Sometimes I have a bathroom break. Sometimes I have a lunch break. Sometimes I might get up and go and chat with somebody. Yeah, go and chat with somebody, release the pressure. I don't really get pressure though at work, to be honest. I might go and like share a little joke with somebody. I might get up and stretch my legs and then work. You understand? But if I say I am working, in this moment I am working. So that's continuous. Because the action is taking place in this very moment. Okay. Here are 5 words: slimy, lifeless, deadly, important, worthy. From among them, select the meanings of lethal and valid. Line 22. Whether they are Barbadians are uncomfortable now, there are snakes around. Whether they are lethal or harmless. You ever heard that word lethal before?
No.
Lethal means like deadly. You would normally hear somebody talk about a lethal weapon. That was a movie, right? Lethal weapons, yeah. Something or a lethal injection. Like if somebody's a murderer and they decide, your punishment or whatever is you're going to lose your life, yeah. Lethal injection. Um, so lethal means deadly. Valid. Valid is in line 14. But they need valid information. Valid means correct, the correct information. Sometimes people like the police, for example, might be looking for somebody and say, all right, no. And they answer question You might give valid information, which is the correct information. You might say, I saw that person yesterday. He was wearing a blue shirt, a black pants, a red hat, and he was driving a white car. That would help the police to find the person. If you don't want the police to find the person, you might say, I haven't seen that person since last month. Or you might say, when I saw them, they were in a black truck and they were heading in this direction. Are you trying to trick the police? Or are you trying to trick whoever's looking for the person? It might be, say, a bailiff. It might be somebody from a store or something. So, you know, the person or money or something like that. You don't want the person get in trouble. So you're not giving valid information. You're giving information to purposely try to trick them. But if you want to try to help the person that's looking, you will give the correct information. From the passage, what tells you that a snake may be around? Look at the first sentence. Look at the beginning of the passage. Tell me what it says. Look at the beginning of the passage and see if you can read that and tell me what it says.
It's fact there are large non-poisonous snakes on the loose in Barbados.
Excellent. So they're telling us it is a fact. This ain't a makeup story. We're dealing with facts. We're dealing with the truth, right? There are large non-poisonous snakes on the loose, crawling all over. We were still running all about, but they're crawling, slithering and crawling all over Barbados. It's a fact. So this is true. How did the country once become free of snakes? You should be able to tell me that. What it is that got rid of all the snakes before, long ago when we had a lot of snakes in Barbados. You remember there's a particular animal that was killing these snakes?
Pardon?
Do you remember the name of the animal that was killing the snakes?
No.
Well, you gotta look at the passage. You weren't listening when Auntie was reading. Look at the last paragraph. See if you can find the answer in that last paragraph. A little sleepy. Might sleep a little bit too late, but you know what? It's like the place is dusty. Probably Sahara dust, sinus kind of times, and that's what has me drowsy too. Mm-hmm. You reading?
I don't see it.
You read the last paragraph, Joshua? I mean, you can read quiet to yourself, but you read the last paragraph?
Yes.
You didn't see any part in the last paragraph about killing all the snakes?
No.
All right, take your time and read it again. I will wait on you. You see anything?
No.
All right, look at line number 20. I want you to read line number 20 for me.
I don't know the word.
Line number 20 starts with the rats. We're looking at the right thing. Number 20. The rats. Go on.
The rats ate the corns, the mangroves,
The rats ate the canes. The mongooses instead killed all the snakes. Right? Mongoose. So that's what got rid of the snakes. They brought in these mongooses with the intention that they would kill the rats. Because the rats were eating down all the sugar cane. But when the mongooses would be sleeping, the rats come out at night and eating down the canes anyway. And the mongooses kill the snakes. According to the passage, when would you most likely see a snake?
at the zoo,
So, what time do the snakes come out, in the morning or the night? You remember?
nighttime,
They come out in the night time to hunt. Good job. Why do you think the sugarcane planters did not bother about the snakes? Why you think they weren't bothered about these snakes?
because they were harmless.
They were harmless. They will not harm humans. Right? Yes, we can see they will eat some small animals, cats, lambs, chickens, and dogs. But the sugarcane planters more concerned about the rats. Because the rats were destroying their crops. The snakes don't eat sugarcane. Right? So I mean they're looking at it, the snake is not gonna harm me. I'm not gonna lose my life because of the snake, and the snake is not gonna harm my crop. So they're not worried. You saw a python snake on the loose. What would you do? There's not any passage, no, there's just asking you, Joshua, what would you do if you saw one of these snakes on the loose?
Run away.
Run away. Yeah, I would think so too. I would probably run as well. I don't have the understanding to know what is harmless from, you know, what is deadly, what will harm me. So I would have to run. I would try not to have to kill it, but I would run. Auntie shared that she got a pet a snake, pet a snake, pet a snake. Yeah. It was a really nice experience. Can't remember if he was a python too. Possibly. E.T. is his name. Because the pattern on his body looks like an alien. Too sweet. All right, that's the end of our comprehension. Let's see Joshua. That was a good job by Joshua. I like that he was willing, as I said, to try with the reading, although it was challenging. He tried his best. All right, so that's the end of this video. Math's coming up next.